In this video I will share about ovulation menstrual cycle. To remain update with our videos, subscribe my channel Health24. Menstrual cycles and ovulation. You probably already know quite a lot about your menstrual cycle, like how often you get your periods and how heavy they are. In this page we are going to take a more in-depth look at the female menstrual cycle, ovulation, and periods. Obviously no website can take the place of talking to a healthcare professional, but this should give you a good general understanding of how it all works. Understanding your menstrual cycle. Your period. Preparing for ovulation. Ovulation. After ovulation. Preparing for the next period. How long it takes to get pregnant. 1. Understanding your menstrual cycle. Women's cycle lengths vary, and the most common cycle length is somewhere between 23 and 35 days. Any variation in menstrual cycle length that does occur is more likely to be during the part of the cycle before you ovulate, which is called the follicular phase. For most women, the length of time between ovulation, when an egg is released from the ovary, and their monthly period is between 12 to 16 days. 2. Your period. The first day of your menstrual cycle is the first day of your period, day 1. The period usually then lasts anything from 3 to 7 days. You'll probably find that if you get any period pains, they'll be at their worst in the first few days of your period. This is because the hormones in your body are causing your womb to actively shed the lining that was built up in the previous menstrual cycle. 3. Preparing for ovulation. At the beginning of your cycle, follicle-stimulating hormone, FSH, is produced by the pituitary gland in your brain. This is the main hormone involved in stimulating your ovaries to produce mature eggs. Follicles are the fluid-filled cavities in your ovaries. Each follicle contains one undeveloped egg. The FSH stimulates a number of follicles to develop and start to produce the hormone estrogen. Your level of estrogen is at its lowest on the first day of your period. From then on, it starts to increase as the follicles grow. For ovulation. The level of estrogen in your body is still increasing, and it eventually causes a rapid rise in luteinizing hormone, the LH surge. This LH surge causes the dominant follicle to rupture and release the mature egg from the ovary, from where it enters the fallopian tube. This process is known as ovulation. Many women think that they ovulate on day 14, but 14 is an average, and most women will actually ovulate on a different day of the menstrual cycle. Your day of ovulation will vary from cycle to cycle. Some women claim to feel a twinge of pain when they ovulate, but many feel no sensation at all, and there's no other sign that you are ovulating. 5. After ovulation. Once the egg, or ovum, has been released, it moves along the fallopian tube towards your womb. The egg can live for up to 24 hours. Sperm survival is more variable, but typically 3 to 5 days. So the days leading up to ovulation and the day of ovulation itself are your most fertile, when you are most likely to get pregnant. As soon as you have ovulated, the follicle starts producing another hormone, progesterone. 6. Preparing for next periods. Once the egg has been released, it moves along the fallopian tube towards your womb. The egg lives for 12 to 24 hours. But because sperm can live for several days, you are at your most fertile and most likely to get pregnant if you have sex without contraception on the day that you ovulate or the day before. As soon as you have ovulated, the collapsed follicle starts producing another hormone called progesterone. Menstrual cycle, day 30, pregnancy. If the egg has been fertilized and implanted into the womb, the empty follicle is maintained by the increasing level of pregnancy hormone human chorionic gonadotrophin. It continues to produce estrogen and progesterone for much longer, until the placenta is mature enough to support the developing embryo. If the egg has been fertilized, it may successfully implant itself into the womb lining. This usually takes place about a week after fertilization. As soon as the fertilized egg has implanted, your body starts producing the pregnancy hormone, human chorionic gonadotrophin, which will keep the empty follicle active. It continues to produce the hormones estrogen and progesterone to prevent the lining of the womb from being shed, until the placenta, which contains all the nutrients the embryo needs, is mature enough to maintain the pregnancy. To remain update with our videos, subscribe my channel Health24.